Now we've got a small candy store that makes 3 types of party mixes. All right, 3 types of party mixes. Now I'm thinking 3 variables. The first type contains 40% nonpareils and 60% peanut clusters. Okay, you know, I got to write this down so I know what we have. We have these nonpareils, we've got peanut clusters. What else have we got? While the second type contains 30% peanut clusters, I got that. 70% chocolate covered raisins. Okay, so let's write that. We got what? Chocolate raisins. Now the question is asking us down here at the bottom, says how many pounds of each type? So we got a first type, a second type, and a third type. So I'm going to let a variable represent each one. So let x equal, now let's see if we can get some equations. So here's what I know. Let's see, the first type contains 40% nonpareils and 60% peanut clusters and so on, all this information. Now finally, here's what we know. The store has 90 pounds of nonpareils. And here's what I know. The first type contains 40% nonpareils. So the 40% of the first type is nonpareils. So this is going to be, how about 0.40x? 40% of the first type is nonpareils. And then what have we got going? If you just keep going, the second type has, I don't see any nonpareils in the second type. But the third type has 40% nonpareils. All right, so I'll leave a blank here for the y's, plus 40% z, all right? So the first type is 40% nonpareils. The second type is 40% nonpareils, and we have how much? 90 pounds altogether. So this has to equal 90. Now, what about these peanut clusters? It says the first type contains 60% peanut clusters. Okay, so 60% of the first type. So I'm going to write a 60%, right? 60% of times the first type is peanut clusters. What about the second type? Second type has, 30% peanut clusters. All right, so this is going to be plus 30% of y. And then what about the third type? Any peanut clusters there? Let's read through. Yeah, 30%. Okay, so 30% of the third type is made up of peanut clusters. And what is the total number of pounds of peanut clusters we have? Right here, 100 pounds. So this many pounds, 60% of that many pounds is peanut clusters. 30% of that many pounds is peanut clusters, and 30% of that is number of pounds of peanut clusters, and that's got to be 100 pounds altogether. And then finally, what about these chocolate-covered raisins? Well, the first type has only nonpareils and peanut clusters, no chocolate-covered raisins. The second type has 30%, okay, there it is, 70% chocolate-covered raisins. Okay, so we have 70% chocolate-covered raisins here. So that's going to be a 0.70 for the second type, and plus, what about the third type? So the third type, nonpareils, peanut clusters, 30% chocolate-covered raisins. So 30% chocolate-covered raisins, and all together down here at the bottom, we got 120 pounds of chocolate-covered raisins. Okay, there is our system. Now you can solve that by pencil. I'm going to Wolfram Alpha. So I went to Wolfram Alpha. I'll drop that in. I'll drop in my results. So you can see I typed in my 3 equations, press the equal sign over here. There's my 3 equations. Sure enough, that's what I typed in, and here's my answers down here. Now they're given in fraction form. That's not really convenient for the number of pounds of something. So let's make conversions. So x, which is equal to 70 over 3, and that comes out to about 23.3 pounds if I round it off. Now y, that's nice. That's just an even 85 pounds. And z, that 605 divided by 3, that comes out to about 201, I'm going to round it off, 0.7 pounds. So let's answer the question. Now the question's down here at the bottom. How many pounds of each type? All right, well, let's say this. The first type, we should use about 23, that's right, about 23.3 pounds. The second type, we're going to use 85 pounds. And the third type, we're going to use about 201.7 pounds. There we go. That's how we're going to answer this question.